She was the Warren Buffett of her time, richer than kings, smarter than scholars, the first Muslim and the first wife of Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when she proposed to her employee, 15 years younger, society called her crazy. This is the untold story of Khadija, radiallahu anha, the first Muslim CEO, and her 3 business rules that still work today. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Noor and Narratives, where we uncover hidden gems from Islamic history to solve your modern struggles. If you're tired of shallow self-help and crave stories with real barakah, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe. Let's grow together. Right now, millions of Muslims are stuck, underpaid, undervalued, or just lost in their careers. But what if I told you Islam already solved this 1400 years ago? Before hustle culture, before networking, there was Khadija, radiallahu anha, a widow, a single mother, and the only person Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ever worked for. So how did she build an empire in the desert? Let's rewind. At 40, an age when most women of her time were overlooked, Khadija, radiallahu anha, had already built a thriving economic empire, spanning from the spice routes of Yemen to the silk markets of Syria. But here's the twist. She didn't inherit it. She built it. She earned it by mastering 3 things. Rule number 1, trust wasn't just important to her. It was non-negotiable. Today we chase cheap labor. Khadija paid more for honesty. Islamic historians like Ibn Ishaq tell us she paid top wages for one trade above all, honesty. That's when a young Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, enters the picture. Already known far and wide as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, she hired him based on this quality. Rule number 2, her seal wasn't just a brand, it was a sacred promise. In a time when Meccan elites sold rotten dates to orphans, her seal meant everything. It was the ISO certification of 6th century Arabia. Break a contract with Khadija, the desert itself would turn against you. Caravans blacklisted you. Wells near your warehouses ran mysteriously dry. Ibn Ishaq even records tribes walking 3 extra days just to trade under her name. But her stamp wasn't just on goods. It was etched into people's minds. When rivals tried to copy it, their own guards came back saying, "The metal burned our hands." Later, the Prophet echoed this principle. The Muslim is the one from whose tongue and hand others are safe. Khadija's seal, it was the first corporate expression of that truth. As for today's halal certifications, they barely scratched the surface. She showed that trade could be deadly to corruption and still fragrant with taqwa. When Umar ibn Khattab, radiallahu anhu, later formalized the Hisbah system, he wasn't starting from scratch. He was carrying forward her legacy, one where business wasn't just about profit, but divine accountability. Rule number 3, she chose risk over tradition. The marketplace of Mecca pulsed with the usual sounds: silver clinking, deals being struck, merchants squeezing every last dirham from tired old strategies. The elites played it safe, trading on repetition. But Khadija, she moved to a rhythm all her own. According to Al-Tabaqat al-Kubra, while most paid their traders the going rate, Khadija made a bold, unheard-of offer. To a young man they called Al-Amin, the trustworthy one. She didn't just offer a wage, she offered a share, a generous one. the kind that would leave money changers staring, speechless. Picture it, her hands, seasoned by decades of deal-making, sliding a heavy pouch across the table. No contracts, no conditions, just pure unwavering trust in a 25-year-old orphan whose character outshone all the gold in Mecca. Years later, the Prophet would remember that moment, his voice thick with gratitude. She believed in me when the world denied me. 3 rules. 1 timeless truth. When you invest in integrity, Allah doesn't just repay. He transforms. Those caravans, their spices were sold, their silks faded, but her choices, they became the foundation on which Islam was built. When the young Muhammad returned from the trade expedition, he brought back more than just goods. He brought twice the expected profits. But that wasn't what caught Khadija's attention. It was how he earned it. No manipulation, no exploitation, just grace, grit, and integrity, the kind of integrity they called Al-Amin, the trustworthy, a name that echoed through Mecca long before prophecy. Her servants told her more, how he treated them with respect, how he prayed alone in the desert, how he never haggled for the sake of greed, but negotiated with principle. That's when she made her boldest move. She didn't just give him a bonus. She sent a proposal through her friend Nafisa. Not a reckless impulse, not a fairy tale, a calculated act of vision. She saw what no one else could, that the real investment wasn't in goods, caravans, or coin, but in character. And that's rule number 1. Invest in people, not just profits. That one choice would change history. Marriage didn't slow her down. Khadija didn't step back. She stepped up. When the Prophet received the first revelation on Mount Hira, trembling from the weight of divine truth, who wrapped him in comfort, not just cloth? Khadija. When he said, "I fear for myself," she didn't hesitate. She said, "By Allah, he will never disgrace you." She reminded him of who he was, before the world would ever know. And when the Quraysh turned against him, when Islam was banned, boycotted, and pushed to the margins, who kept it alive? Khadija. She sold her assets, emptied her accounts, funded the mission from her own hands, without asking for anything in return. Her wealth wasn't spent on palaces or pearls. It became armor. It became fuel. A weapon, not for war, but for dawah. Her gold became guidance. She didn't just believe in the Prophet. She built the foundation that carried his message to the world. The best woman of paradise was a CEO, not just a businesswoman, a strategist, a leader, a woman who ran trade routes stretching from Mecca to Damascus, before women were even seen in the market stalls. The Prophet said, "The best of women in paradise are Maryam, the daughter of Imran, and Khadija, daughter of Khuwaylid." Think about that. The woman honored as one of the greatest in the hereafter was also one of the boldest in the marketplace. She negotiated contracts, managed male agents, dominated trade, but she did it all with taqwa, with honor, and with vision. In a society where women were buried, literally and economically, Khadija rose. And when revelation descended, she didn't step aside. She stood beside him. She funded the message. She carried the weight. Her boardroom was the caravan. Her currency, trust. Her legacy, eternal. Mashallah, what an incredible woman. What an inspiration. So what did we learn here? Rule number 1, hire the Al-Amin. Today we chase the cheapest labor. Khadija, she paid more for integrity, because to her, trust wasn't a bonus. It was the foundation, and it built an empire stronger than any ledger. Rule number 2, bet on the unproven. She married a 25-year-old with no fortune, no connections, just character. Key word here is character. 23 years later, he changed the course of human history. She didn't invest in status. She invested in potential. Rule number 3, wealth is a tool. She didn't die with palaces or jewels. She died with empty hands and a heart full of legacy. Modern CEOs hoard wealth. Khadija funded a revelation, and in return, she bought herself a place in Jannah. Her rules weren't just for their century. They're a blueprint for every believer who dares to lead with purpose. And if this inspired you, hit like. YouTube's algorithm loves stories like this. Comment Khadija below. I read every one. And subscribe. Next week, we might reveal how Bilal, radiallahu anhu, went from slave to millionaire with one powerful mindset shift. Or let me know if there's something specific you'd like us to cover.